This month, the Korean board game community comes together for the biggest board game convention in Korea, BoardGameCon. It'll be my first time going to this convention, and I can't wait to get along and see what it's all about. But I've been researching a fair bit about how to go, what I need to do to be able to enter, where it's at, as well as who's going to be there. So I thought I'd share what I've looked into. I think I will premise it though, I am not an expert on BoardGameCon. Like I said, I haven't been before, but I'm really excited and I can't wait to check out what's on offer at the convention. So let's jump on the computer and we'll have a look.
We're bored in Korea, but never bored. Every game played, every victory scored. 모여라 for the win, lose, or glory. Let's tell those K-board game stories.
So as you can see, BoardGameCon will be this month, July. So from the 16th to the 19th, so that's Thursday to Sunday. And it's at the COEX Centre, and it'll be in Hall B1. So that's just 15 days away from where I'm recording this. I don't know how far away from when I actually get this edited out, but we'll see. It is free entry. And if you have a Korean phone number, so I will just translate this quickly, if that'll work. If you do have a Korean phone number, you can pre-register to attend, but I will flag that if you don't have a Korean phone number, you're unable to register. I did have a go at just trying to register with my email, but it did not work. So yeah, you do need to be able to put in a number, and the only options available are these sort of phone numbers with that start with the Korean phone number. So unfortunately, if you don't have one, you can't pre-register. But my understanding is it's still free to attend if you don't pre-register. You just might have to line up or go through a slightly different process to enter. Yeah, so it's still free. Keep an eye out for that. But if you can pre-register, it's pretty worthwhile doing. It can be a bit quicker. If you're attending with kids, it does flag that you don't need to pre-register for the children. So only the guardian needs to pre-register. So one thing that you can see on the website is that they've announced who is going to be the companies that are going to be here. And so I thought I might run you through those. They've also announced who's going to be in the writer zone, they call it, sort of the designer, indie publisher sort of area. I am trying to pull together a bit of a list about sort of who that is and what they're doing. And hopefully I'll be able to have something that I can share so that you can have an idea of who you might want to check out in that zone as well. So that's coming. But let's jump into my list of the companies that are going to be there. And the first one is Playte, or Gameology Playte. So Gameology is the company that owns Playte. So Playte's going to be there. I've spoken a fair bit about their games. They are a great Korean board game company. They produce a number of games in these small boxes that fit just beautifully on your shelf. There's some just here behind me. I'm not sure if they're in my shop. Some of the hot ones that were at Tokyo Game Market this year was this Nebula Colors, kind of like a go-stop style 2-player head-to-head game, which is fun. This Leaning Tower of Pizza is one that uses, I don't know if you've ever had delivery pizza, the little things that hold the box up and prevent it from falling. I think it has one of the greatest lines in a board game where it talks about that there's an expansion for this game in every delivered box of pizza. I think that's quite good. Finger Pirates is one that my family's been playing a little bit lately, a very light bidding style auction game where you're putting out your fingers to say how much you're willing to bid. If you're the highest and the number goes too high, you get punished, and you're trying to collect specific cards so that you can get the highest score. So it's quite good. So anyway, they're great. They'll probably be there with their crates. I did a video before Tokyo Game Market about the value of the crates and if it's worthwhile. I don't know how much they'll be selling them for at this con, but I'm sure they'll be good value and people will be able to pick up a good group of games at a really reasonable price. So definitely check out Playte if you get the opportunity. The next company on my list is a company called Nabita Games. Now, I won't talk a lot about these guys. They are a Busan-based company, as far as I can tell. They seem to have quite a big focus on importing quality toys and games. So It looks like it's more focused on sort of the younger crowd. So they've got Harbour, Orchard games. Although there's some of these bigger sort of Fun Forge style games. So like some of these miniature sort of style games as well. I don't know how to get rid of this ad. There we go. So yeah, if that's your thing, check them out for those. Or if you're looking to pick up some really great games for your kids, you can't go wrong with the Harbour games, or like even for very young kids, some of the Orchard games. So yeah, check them out if that seems like your cup of tea. Next up, anyone who's spent some time in Korea and checking out the board game scene may be familiar with Devil Dice, mostly from their board game cafes. But it looks like they're also localizing and importing a number of games, as well as producing some games locally. I get the sense that they're probably going to have a number of imported games at the con that you'll be able to check out. They also have this Angel Dice range, which looks like some dexterity style like games. So let's see if they have those there as well. But yeah, some interesting Kickstarter style release like Merchant's Cove that they're localizing for the Korean market. So yeah, that is Devil Dice. The next one on the list is a company called Raccoon Punch. And as far as I can tell, they just do one particular game. Let me just check my notes here. Obsidian Protocol, which sounds like a squad-based. So again, if that's your cup of tea, you'll know who you are. You probably already know about Raccoon Punch. But yeah, check them out if you are into playing or wanting to check out Obsidian Protocol in Korea. Okay. Next up is one of the big names in Korea. It's Mandoo Games. They have a huge range of titles of really great games. So, Veil of Eternity is a really big one. Magazine was a really big release around this time last year. Cup the Crab has been a lot of fun. 12 Chip Trick is one that my friend who visited Korea recently picked up, and they've been playing a lot at home. They also have a lot of these sort of like bigger, sort of like very Korean style games. So Cushy Express. If you're into two-player asymmetric games, I cannot stress how good this Dracula vs. Van Helsing game is. It's incredible. And if you want to test it beforehand, there's a really good implementation of it on Board Game Arena. I recommend you try out. But it's just, the artwork's great. The gameplay is just really phenomenal. So yeah, check that out. But yeah, they're going to have some good games there, and I'm really interested in what they might be bringing out in the near future there. Oh, there you go. There's even some Paper Safari, Point Salad, some of those really staple games, particularly the Pokemon ones that people like to pick up when they come to Korea. So great opportunities to pick up some great games. Next up is Magic Bean Games. Now, Magic Bean Games, they don't have a huge range of titles as far as I can tell, but they have a couple of big ones. One great one, which you can't see because it's up on the top of my shelf, is Code Talk, but they released a version of Code Talk this year. I wonder if I can find it here we go, which is a Pokemon version, which is just so beautiful. Just like I think it's a great version of this game, and it's if you like tic-tac-toe at all, but you want to add a little bit more strategy to it, this game is excellent. So how it works is you've got these 9 different squares that are divided into 9 different locations that you can place these pieces. And when you place a piece, so let's say I place one here in number 1, but I put it in this 3 slot, the next person who plays has to play to the 3 slot. So this 3 square here. And then if they play there, they might then play to the 2, and someone has to play there. And what you're trying to do is get 3 in a row. So you can see Pikachu has won this one because they've managed to get 3 in a row. Now, diagonally, horizontally, but also it can run between model squares. So it's a great little abstract game that's had a bit of a Pokemon pasted on. But like I think the little models are great. The little areas look fantastic, and it's just a light game that you can pick up and play with your family. So highly recommend this one if you get the opportunity. They do also have a game called it's translated as Onok, but it's actually Omok Chess, which sounds like a implementation of a game. So there's a game called Omok in Korea, which is like a 5 in a row style game. O means 5. But then what they've done is they've added some chess rules to that 5 in a row game by the looks of it. So I'm keen to check this out. This is one of the games that they're going to be running some competitions at BoardGameCon. So I'll be interested. I probably won't get a chance to play in the competition, but I wouldn't mind going over and just having a look and seeing how people are playing. And my son loves chess. My wife actually loves Omok. And so I wonder if this is a great game that we could pick up, that they could play together and really have a good time. So that's Magic Beans. I don't know a lot about their other titles. I just spotted this Seoul game, so that did just perk my interest when I've just opened this up. So I wouldn't mind checking out what that's about. But yeah, Magic Bean, they produce really nice quality games, and yeah, you should check them out if you get the opportunity. So the next company is Mazelling Games. Now this looks really interesting to me because it looks like they just produce one particular thing, which is these puzzles that you fold, and you have to work your way through this maze by folding it. So you'll start here and you've got to get to 1 and 2. So you might fold it over so they connect, and then you bring it through, and then you've got to try and get that 2 to connect with the 3. So you're just folding this piece of paper back and forwards until you can get all the way through. So I don't know, it sounds like a fun little activity. It seems like something that would be really good to do on the plane. I might try, pick up a couple of these and just see how I go, just so that I've got something fun that I can do, a little activity. So I don't know, it just looks really cool. Little puzzle to work through. The next company here looks like it's predominantly like a sort of mass marketing style games. It looks like it mostly focuses on toys. So it's called Mimi World. Looks like mostly toys. I think I spotted there were a couple of board games, but they kind of look a bit mass markety. So it's not super my style, but if this is what you're into, check them out. I'm sure someone's kids might really enjoy them. But yeah, this is not really for me, but I don't think I'm the target. So that's Mimi Games. Again, for a different reason, this next one is mystery games. And this one's probably because I would be unable to play the games. I think they mostly focus on sort of murder mystery style games, or sort of hidden role style games where you do need a fair bit of information. I will go and have a look and see if there is anything that I can pick up that's language independent, but I get the vibe that you probably need a decent level of Korean to be able to pick them up. But they look like a really high quality games. They have a fair few people who follow them online, and they produce a lot of games. So yeah, if you are able to play those, it's probably worth checking out these guys. The next one on the list is a company called Boardmarka Brothers. And from what I can see, they mostly produce games through Tumblebug, which is like Korea's version of Kickstarter. It looks like they've been quite successful, releasing several titles on here. So this was their latest one, No Water, which I think recently closed and sort of funded for over 6,000%, which is great. You may have seen Red Room before. That's the one that I recognized from them. I guess that one did very well because it funded at, what is that, 17,000% over what they tried. But they have very, distinct style of art and gameplay, but I haven't actually played any of them, so I'd be interested in checking out sort of what they're like. But yeah, they got a really cool look to them, and they seem quite popular. Next up, we have Board Boom, who mostly to me look like they produce educational style games or children's games. So looks like Jumping Dice is their biggest one that they have. But yeah, I don't know a lot about them, but from what I've read on their website, they sort of started out as an educational board game company, and they've been building from that. So if this looks like something that you're interested in, this is what Board Boom is doing. Next up is another one of the big ones, I would say. This is Board M. So Board M, they have a board game store, but they also produce a lot of games. They mostly focus on importing and bringing games from overseas into Korea, but they have been releasing a fair few games as well recently. So a really huge hit has been this flamenco game. It's been all over Korean Instagram. I picked up a copy from Take a Game Market, and it's just a really fun ladder climbing game, which has a really interesting hook where you have to play the same number of cards as other people unless you split in half. So if someone plays a 4, you can play 2 2s. And that's actually how you increase the number of cards that you can shed out of your hand. And so if you can efficiently do that, you'll do well in the game. So really clever gameplay. So simple but clever. So if you get the chance to have a go at Flamenco, I highly recommend it. Looks like this Peanuts game is what is it called? Peanuts Talent Show. It seems like a one that they've released recently. That again, it's a bit of a trick taker by the looks of it, but sounds like you're also doing some set collection from memory on a drafting. So it looks like you're doing some drafting to build stronger hands. You will get coins and purchase stronger cards and go like that. So I think that's a really interesting combination. If you're into Peanut, it's a no-brainer. But also the gameplay does sound really fun to me and easy to get to the table and have a go. And I just think it's a really unique combination of that deck building with trick taking. So yeah, they're the two main ones that I'm looking forward to. But again, they're importing a lot of games and there's probably some big titles, and they'll be one of the big popular companies that people will be checking out while they're there. So next up is another sort of one of the mystery style game companies. So this is Board Pop, they're called. Again, unfortunately, I don't think my Korean's strong enough that I would be able to do this, but it looks like they have a lot of sort of these mystery style games. And if that is something that you're into, then I think you can't go wrong with checking these guys out as well. So the next company is Boardmarka. Also, I think you might know them like they have the Dicetree Games brand. So again, they import a lot of games and localize a lot of games so in Korea, but they also just produce some of the best quality versions of some of the games they bring in. So they have this range. So if we have a look here, this is part of it from this board tree. This is the Trajan version in that range, and they just produce like a really high quality, beautiful version. So Winner's Circle is also one of the ones in there, and they also have a really nice version of modern art in that collection. So check them out. They'll have a big range of games and hopefully some good deals going on as well. The next company is an interesting one because I think they're probably going to be there more so around the work that they do. So it's called Seowol Board Games. And they seem to be quite big as running board game camps, I think for designing board games, but I'm not 100% sure. It's not translating for me. But yeah, so they run these board game camps that people can attend. So I'm keen to go and have a talk to them, sort of understand how they fit in and work out what it is that they do. But I'm not 100% sure if they produce a lot of games. I'm just having a look. Yeah, maybe it might be more that they actually help release some indie game designers games, which is great. I'd be keen to check that out as well. Next up, we've got Silvergun, who have been really just hitting it out of the park. I guess pun intended. I wasn't, but there we go. Particularly with this swing and roll game this year that they've released. Hamster Gangsters also, I saw it was very popular at Tokyo Game Market while I was there. So I'll be keen to check that one out if I get the opportunity. And then, yeah, they just had some really solid releases of late. And so check them out, like really excellent games that I'm keen to pick up and try. Next, we've got the heavy hitter, Asmodee. I don't know how much I have to say about Asmodee. I'll be interested in what they're bringing along because they do a lot of collaborations in Korea. So if you can look here, Cushy Crush is actually a Mandoo game, but I'm assuming that they've collaborated to bring that out here. So I'm just keen to check out what they've got on offer. They're a huge company. They're one of the biggest board game companies in the world. And so keen to check out what they bring along to the convention. So Underdog Games is a really interesting company. It looks like their main focus is trying to bring sort of Lesser known games, although having a look at some of these titles, they've become massive titles, Scout, Aqua Garden, but like trying to find lesser known games and bringing them to Korea to introduce them. Like Nana is now Trio, although I do think this version, its art is my preference for that game. I have noticed again that these sort of murder mystery style games are quite big with this company, but yeah, bringing across from mostly it looks like Japan, a lot of different indie style games that then look like some of them explode and become huge hits. So that is, I don't know if I said their name, Underdog Games. Next up is Up and Up Games. They're a small publisher. They produce so Honeybee, which I have just here. Excellent little push your luck style game where you're basically flipping cards and you don't want to flip two that are the same color. You can stop at any time, and then if you stop, you can collect them, and you're trying to collect sets. So you might be trying to collect a run or a set of this, 4 of the same color or a set of 4 of the same number, and you score different amounts of points based on that. And the winner, from memory, it's like determined after you get 3 sets or 4 sets. Then you'll add up your scores, and whoever has the highest scores is the winner. So great little light push your luck game with beautiful art. Beetle Racing looked like it was another one of the really popular one that they had for sale at Tokyo Game Market. A racing style game, I don't know a lot more about it other than it has really cool little acrylic pieces that go around the board. So again, check them out, give them some love. They're a small publisher from what I can tell, and they seem really passionate about what they do. Next up, we got MTS Games, or Monday to Sunday Games. Again, they're another company that does a lot of bringing games into Korea to localize them, but then they also have some excellent releases that they've done here. The big ones that have come out recently, I might go to their news section. I did see Switch On was really popular at Above Board convention in the Philippines. Did see a fair bit of things in my Instagram feed and information on the internet around this game. So looks like an abstract strategy style game that will be worth having a look at. And then I think this other one is another recent release. So what is that? Nashi. I think that's how you say that. So I'll also be having a look to see what that looks like. And then looks like there again some localization. So that looks like a Heart of Crowns localization. So yeah, check out Monday to Sunday Games at BoardGameCon. Okay, only a couple left. Yellow Star Games is the next company. So again, they have a really cool shop, board game shop in Hongdae if you have the chance to check them out. I believe they also run a board game cafe that's not far from that shop. They also import, so localize a number of games, but have released a few titles. So I've got this Divey, which is it's a really interesting take on Yahtzee, but instead of it being sort of a roll and write, so ticking boxes, you're flipping cards as you achieve the different sets. So it's really beautiful artwork, but it is pretty much Yahtzee. If you love Yahtzee, you probably love this. I don't know a lot about any of the other titles other than ones like Earth and things like that that they've imported and localized. Next up's another small studio, Olin Studio. This is their huge title that has come out recently, Agent Black, a sort of hidden role style game as far as I can tell. I haven't played it. This Rotate has also been getting a good run, I can see of late. So it looks like a really cool little card game where you're flipping your cards over and changing sort of what they are. I've also heard really good things about this Warigari Race, but actually the thing that has me the most fascinated, and I can't find it down here, but it was in the, maybe it's down here, is this here. This version of Ghost Stop, of the cards that you use for Ghost Stop. I just think this version looks so beautiful, so I'm going to be checking it out for sure. Although I'm really interested because like they don't look like they have that same plastic sort of feel that you can slam them down on the table when you start taking other people's money. So, but yeah, I'll be checking that out. I think they look really cool. The next couple of companies look like they are there as sort of manufacturers of board games. So as far as I can tell, so it looks like they do a lot of sort of like the components and sort of providing the services to help you produce board games. So be checking them out, see what they've got on offer. But that's what I can tell. So this one here is called Joan. Similarly is this Choice Games. So Choice, although it does look like they produce a few board games as well. So I was sort of interested. This was really cool, this sort of board gamer kit. But it looks like it's sold out. So I don't know. Maybe they'll have some at the con. But like, yeah, this sort of kit that has all blank components that you can build your own board game from. I thought that was pretty cool. So I'll be having a look and seeing what they got. But that sounded fun to be able to have a go at making something. Next up, one of the big guys, it's Korea Board Games. They're massive here. They'll have huge range of titles. I'd be checking them out. I'm sure they'll have some great deals on. I'm not sure I need to tell people too much about them other than two recent titles that I picked up. So this Juseo is awesome, so much fun, really cool little trick-taking game where you can try and force people out of the game by asking them to produce the card if you can't. And you actually want to play your cards as little as possible, so you want to be asking, but you got to be careful because if that person can't fulfill your wish, depending on how you ask, they'll be out or you'll be out. So really cool little game, great artwork, looks beautiful on the table. And then this one here, Capsule Collector, is just fantastic. It's so fun. It's like, particularly with my kids, really great little set collection game where you're having to sort of work this engine to collect them and then open the capsules and hope that you are opening the ones with the highest value. I might try and do a video on this one before the convention because I just think it's really fun. So yeah, check those out if you get the opportunity. Great little titles. So just 3 more to go. Here we go. So this one here is Peacecraft. As far as I can tell, they kind of like have built sort of a board game community as well as they produce some board games. I think the big board game that they have recently released is this sort of Chasing Alice. This was quite popular at Tokyo Game Market. I saw a lot of people at this table constantly. So yeah, Chasing Alice seems like a big one. But it looks like they work with a lot of indie designers and produce some games. So I'll be checking them out as well. Next up is a company called Hobby Game Mall. And as far as I can tell, they're predominantly focused on collectible card games and things like that. So I'm sure they'll be very popular. But yeah, like if you have a look, Flesh and Blood, Star Wars Unlimited, Magic the Gathering. Yeah, so you'll know if you're interested in checking these guys out. I'm sure they'll be very busy throughout the con. But yeah, looks like they'll have a lot of collectible card games and accessories. Even when you look at what under board games on here, it looks like it's mostly collectible card games. This is interesting. This Detective Conan does look like it's only in Japanese, which is interesting. But this was a very popular game at the Tokyo Game Market that I was just at. They had a big section where they had people playing this the whole time. So I don't know if this will ever get a translated version. I'd probably be interested if it did. My son actually is reading through these books at the moment, but I doubt it because I don't know that it's as popular outside of Japan, particularly in the English speaking. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. I'll be keeping an eye out for it. But yeah, that is Hobby Game Mall. Finally, we've got Happy Baobab Games. They're producing a lot of excellent games at the moment, but I think the main thing I want to talk about is this one here, Hanyo Sea Divers of Jeju. Just a fantastic, I don't know if you can see it here on my shelf. This has probably been my family's favorite board game this year. We've been playing it a fair bit. It's a push your luck, flip and right style game where you are trying to collect the most objects from the ocean and trying to score the most points. Yeah, it's really excellent. If you haven't had a chance to pick that up, I would be looking at it at this con. But the other interesting thing that I have been able to work out, both from chatting to them at Tokyo Game Markets, they hinted that they might have a small expansion available at BoardGameCon, and that's been confirmed because when I've had a look on their Instagram, they've shared this, what is it, it looks like a mini expansion. So yeah, it is a mini expansion. I don't know. I'll probably be picking it up because we love the game. But yeah, that is Happy Baobab. That is every company that was listed as attending BoardGameCon in Seoul. Let me know in the comments who you're excited to see, if there's any games that you think I should be checking out or anything that I missed. I would love to hear from you. I'm so excited to be attending this board game convention. It's going to be 4 long days, but I can't wait. Hope you join me for the journey. I'm Ryan, the Aussie Joshi. We board in Korea, and we think you should too.
We're bored in Korea, but never bored. Every game played, every victory scored. 모여라 for the win, lose or glory. Let's tell those K board game stories.